All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have a fun little return of the segment here. We're going to be talking with the one, the only, the handsome Mr. Dave Blake.
Hello, everybody.
Good to
Hello,
see you.
Internet.
The interwebs, some would even say.
Yeah, on to the interwebs we go.
Yeah. We planned to talk earlier in the year and totally slipped my mind, and I missed that engagement. It's one of my biggest life regrets so far. But I'm glad we got you here now. You've had a busy year since the last Alberta Strongest Man. What have you been up to since last year?
Yeah, so I didn't get to compete in Alberta Strongest last year. I was kind of picking and choosing which shows I was going to do. So it was one that I skipped, just being that it was first year and I had some other plans in place. So yeah, last year was super busy as far as competition season went. Started off in March at Lakelands, and then had Western Canada Strongest Man in Devon. Did provincials right after that for Alberta, for amateur provincials, the SCC. Then what was after that? Nationals after that? No, Gimli after that. So I went out to Manitoba for the Gimli Magnus for Magnuson Classic qualifier. A lot of guys from Alberta went out for that one, which was awesome. It was good to have some familiar faces, and also just, it's cool to compete in a scenario like that, because they have, hundreds of people watching, and you're in like this sunken bowl of a dome. So it's very gladiator-esque kind of. So that part was great. Finished off the Canadian tour with amateur nationals here in Calgary, and then followed that up with a nice little trip to Singapore at the end of November, and came home with a trophy from the Extinct Games. I won the men's amateur open side of things at the Extinct Games in Singapore for 2025. So that was a awesome way to finish the season. Singapore's a beautiful country. All the guys I competed with were fantastic, all over the world, international competitors. So it was really, really good. Plus I had our buddy Sean Hayes on the pro side. So it was nice to do some touristy things with him while we were out there. So it was good.
Yeah, Sean's a beauty. I had him on the stream there a bit last year at Devon Day's show. He got that injury, so he hopped on the stream with me for day 2. I was lucky to have him on there. He's a good dude, strong dude.
Yeah, ridiculously strong.
Yeah. No, that Singapore show looked pretty cool, man. That's a big achievement to fly across the other side of the world and compete with the best in the world and take home the gold. It's awesome.
Yeah, that 16-hour flight is something to be desired, but it was all worth it in the end.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't like 2-hour road trips, let alone a 16-hour flight.
Yeah, and when Stacy got on the plane, it shows you your estimated time of arrival or duration existing on your flight. It was like 17 hours and 3 minutes, and she just snaps over. She's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, what? I told you it was a long flight. So I don't think she understood how long was.
Now, did you intentionally not tell her a number?
No, I told her it was 16 hours, which was our flight. Our flight home was 16 hours from Singapore to Vancouver, and then Vancouver home. But I couldn't get a flight out in that same route, so had to go to San Francisco first. So it was almost 2 days of travel, and you lose a day flying over there, right? So we left Calgary Monday mid-morning, and we landed in Singapore Wednesday morning after like 24 hours of travel. So we lost all of Tuesday, pretty much just straight up.
Some would even say you time traveled.
Could have almost considered it just that thing. The flight home only took us an hour. So that was even more of a time traveler.
That sounds like time traveling once again.
Right?
Show me your ways.
I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure that's how time travel works.
I agree. So yeah, we got Alberta Strongest Man coming up here shortly. How you feeling about that? Events look good for you?
Yeah, as a set of events go, I mean, there's nothing in it that I really hate or I have a huge weakness in. My biggest weakness is likely the circus dumbbell, which is the last implement of the overhead medley. So that doesn't really hurt my feelings, because the likelihood that I even get to it is 50-50. Yeah. At best, it's a heavy overhead. Being a pro-am and a circuit show, it's heavy. and my overhead has been progressing well over the last couple years, but it's going to be a big stretch to get to that circus. Aside from that, I did an 1,100-pound yoke in Singapore as part of a yoke ladder, similar to what they did at Strongest Man on Earth. So it was like a 950, 1,020, and then 1,100. And so I did pretty much 3 PR yokes in under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the heavy yoke that we're going to have. Car deadlift looks like it's going to be really cool. Some great sponsorship. So that really helps because it gives really cool looking implements. So as a competitor, it's great. You end up with some real kind of showstopper type photos and videos of your events. And as a member of the crowd, it's really cool to see that kind of a spectacle, right? That's where I think stuff like a Hercules hold or a car deadlift, that's just as much for the crowd as it is for the competitors.
Yeah.
A deadlift is a deadlift until you're deadlifting a car.
Exactly. Yeah. When you just add that little bit of spectacle to the event, it makes a difference for the viewers, right?
For sure. And same thing with the Hercules hold, right? Like it's a fairly boring event on paper. Oh, you're just going to hold 2 implements for as long as you can. Well, that seems kind of lame until you realize that it's this big spectacle of an implement, and it's like, yeah, that looks sick. I think back to any time that Mark Felix has ever done a Hercules hold, and it always just looks so grand, and they zoom out and it's just this massive piece. He's standing in the middle. It looks like it's trying to rip him in half, and it's like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I remember they would do it on the old Roman pillars, like the concrete pillars and stuff. That looked cool. Yeah. Yeah,
right. And I've seen it before with cars on ramps.
Yeah.
And that one looks super sick. And in reality, it's not any harder than certain implements or any other grip event, but it's it looks cool. So like I said, it's great having really solid sponsorship, and I think the guys at Royal Iron and Alberta Strongest, the promoters, have done a really good job of getting community buy-in and sponsorship backing up this event, which really helps when it comes to putting on a show that's of superior quality, right? It's better for the competitors, better for the spectators. It's just all around, it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be obviously doing a live stream for the show, so I've been working with Nick a bit, getting some details from him, and yeah, it's a fun show. It's going to be fun. I loved last year because it's held at I should know the name of the
Fire and Flood Emergency Services.
Fire and Flood Emergency Services, shout out in Red Deer. When they had the show last year, they brought out all of the major pumps and big pieces of equipment that they use for disaster relief and stuff, and it was real cool. They lined it up in the background, and unfortunately with my angle, I couldn't really see it too much, but for the audience, it was World's Strongest Man quality backdrop and venue. It was really cool.
Well, and one of the coolest things, from my standpoint, was, there was the delay in the morning because it happened to snow the morning of.
Yeah.
And you're out in their parking lot, and they had an army of volunteers basically clear that entire lot and leaf blower it dry so that the guys could actually do their events safely, which is crazy. Right? To think of that scale of volunteer work anywhere else, you're asking a ton. So like I say, having a sponsor like that is huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember seeing all the guys out there with the bags of ice melt, just pouring it, just kicking it around, trying to get everything going. And in no time, it was dry and ready to go. It was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, I don't even think it delayed by an hour. And there was 2 inches of snow on the ground when everybody showed up in the morning, which is nuts.
And yeah, I remember at Alberta Strongest Man last year, they had some pretty good food. And this year they got a pretty good food truck coming out too. I forget what it's called though.
Yeah, it's the Little Diner to Go food truck. It's part of Complete Catering, which holds a little special place in my heart because it's my mom and dad.
Nice.
So yeah, it's always great to have them involved in any sort of event. That truck is very well known and very well liked in Central Alberta. They do a lot of events throughout Central Alberta and all over the place. They have 2 trucks and they travel everywhere, right? It's the best part of having a kitchen on wheels. So really looking forward to that. And they're super excited. I mean, my mom is a fairly big fan of strongman in general. I always joke that I'm her 3rd favorite strongman now because we went to Iceland a couple years ago and she met Thor, and at that point she had a bad hip. She's since had hip replacement or knee replacement surgery and fixed that. But she met Thor. I don't think I've seen her move that fast in 15 years. And so that immediately knocked me down to number 2. And then last year or 2 years ago at Devon Days, I sent her a picture of Tristan and myself, and she pretty much solidified that he's number 2. So I'm hanging on to 3rd place for dear life. But Dan Hagen is nipping at my heels, so there's a very high likelihood that if he wins Alberta's again, I'm going to be, off the podium in my mom's heart.
You're gonna have to Tanya Harding one of them just to keep your place in her heart.
I told Dan, I'm like, you already messed up one knee, don't make me mess up the other one.
It's his fault. You warned him.
Yeah, you brought this upon yourself.
Which event at Alberta Strongest Man this year are you looking most forward to?
Honestly, all of them. Like, the whole show is a good set of events. Just good classic strongman stuff. The car deadlift is a nice deadlift variation. I find it a little easier on the body. I'm more of a quad dominant deadlifter, so that one's nice for me. The overhead's a good medley. You've got a keg, an axle, a log, and then the circus dumbbells. So like I say, aside from the circus, I'm really comfortable with all the other implements. Happy with the heavy yoke, happy with the frame. Been working with my coach now since the beginning of January with Austin Ryan, and he's really helped me build in a little more athleticism into my game while still getting stronger. And it's been really beneficial. I can run a couple runs with a yoke and a backwards drag or an arm over arm, and I'm not gassed out by the time I'm done, which 2 years ago when I first got up to heavyweight status, it was not that way.
Yeah, that's the deceptive thing about heavyweight strongman. It's not what it was 10, 15 years ago. You got to be fit.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the guys now, like on the world stage, and they're not only are they monsters, but they're athletic as all hell, right? Like, you've got a guy that's nearly 400 pounds that's sprinting with, a 250 or 280 pound sandbag. When they were doing like the steeplechase, you're watching those guys, you're like, this should be more difficult. Like, you should gas out. Yeah. And I think back to late 90s, early 2000s strongman. That's like, those guys were, 275, 280 pounds max. And they were fast. But they were nowhere near as strong as where guys are now. It's crazy. You look at some of the events that we have from like an amateur regional show level, and they're just barely below what World's Strongest Man weights were. I look at log is the biggest one that stands out to me. A World's Strongest Man final log in the late 90s was like 260.
Yeah.
And like now, an open men's class log is probably going to be like 285.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
At an amateur show, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, right? At a regional qualifier, not like a national event. Like, our nationals overhead was 320 axle.
Yeah.
Right? Where 20 years ago, that's a world class overhead, and now it's like, yeah, no, that's amateur stuff.
Yeah, that's like the bare minimum.
yeah, you're not even scratching the surface of strong now.
Oh yeah, no, it's wild how fast it's grown, and you gotta grow fast to keep up with it at that level.
Yeah, but after going over to Singapore, I really realized how much everybody in Western Canada and Alberta especially really pushes each other. The bar that we've set for ourselves because of who we get to compete against is extremely high. You can't have holes in your game. Yeah. You got to be kind of a total package. And I don't think I'm a total package, like a 10 out of 10 on every event, but I'm trying to be a 7 out of 10 at my worst event, so that I don't get blown out of the water on points, because you can't give up a ton of points on any event and expect to win or even touch a podium.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And for the record, you're a 10 out of 10 for me, Dave.
Ooh, 10 out of 10 in our hearts.
Yeah. A lot of people hate it when I ask these questions. They don't like to say it, but what are your podium predictions for ASM?
I think, obviously Tristan is a favorite. He's reigning Canada's strongest man. He's really jumped his game up an entire level, right? Like, he really shows you the difference of, oh yeah, you're a pro, and like, no, you're a world-class pro. and he is a world-class pro. So without a doubt, he's my number one. Colton, of course, I mean, he's ridiculously strong all the time and very consistent. He was out in Gimli with us last year and didn't get the finish he was hoping for, but had an overall just great show. He's very consistent, very strong, definitely going to be on the podium. But then you've got like newer pros, right? You got Billy Hornaday just coming back from Arnold. Billy's been stacking weight to pretty much every lift that he's got. It's nice getting to see him at Strength Edge now that he kind of moved back to Calgary. I mean, he travels a lot for work, but definitely get to see him more now. So that part's been great, but he's really been pushing himself. So I think he's got a solid contention of throwing in a podium finish. Crispy is another one. He became a pro at the end of last year, podium finish at Nationals, and he has continued to be very, very strong. He trains by himself 90% of the time, so the results that he can get out of that is incredible, because I know I wouldn't get the same. I'm lucky enough to be at the Strength Edge with a bunch of other guys to help motivate and get tips and tricks and everything else from. So yeah, but then again, my mom's potential third favorite, Dan Hagen, he's not only defending ASM, but he's looked really, really good once he's started seeing more progress with Laws as his coach. He's just exponentially stronger, better conditioning, overall stronger. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm hoping that he has some sort of terrible event with a mind lapse where his hands fall off or something, because I don't think there's going to be much that slows him down. It's going to be scary. So I'm trying to think of who else is in the list, but yeah, it's such a great field, guys, and it's a big field, which is nice. I think we've got 12 competitors on the men's side of things, which is fantastic. I think that's a kind of a perfect mix of size, because there's lots of points up for grabs. You can get some guys in there that are kind of one trick pony as far as events go, that throw a real wrench into things because they wedge themselves in between a couple top contenders, and those are my favorite. Right, so I'm hoping to be a spoiler for a couple of those potentially, and put together a solid show from start to finish and kind of see where it all falls together at the end.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Some good names. Boys have been putting in the work. Dan shared a picture recently, and he put on some size. He's a brick.
I think he's somewhere in like the 330 mark right now.
Yeah,
which is solid. That's thick.
Yeah,
and
not a lot of body fat either.
No, and I mean, coming from the bodybuilding background that he has, he does fairly well with his nutrition. He's not like I'm just gonna gain weight to gain weight. He's fairly methodical about it, and you can tell, because at 330 pounds, you can still see all three heads of his quad when he squats, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and he's squatting 700 pounds while he does it, so no big deal.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's super motivating.
Yeah, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah, why am I even here?
Well, Dave, interesting. Good getting some history on you and seeing how your last year went and how you feeling for ASM is pretty good. Just about ready to wrap things up here, but before we go, I did have one last segment I'd like you to partake in, which we discussed earlier.
Is this the OnlyFans part?
Yes, it is. Now take your pants off.
Perfect. Yeah, take them off. Haven't had them on. Why do you think the camera's pointed so high?
All right, Mr. Blake, are you ready to enter?
Power Hippo Streams presents the Rapid Fire Zone.
You know what? I think I am.
Handsome Dave, you will be entering the Rapid Fire Zone. I have 5 questions for you. You can answer them immediately, or you can say skip and come back to them. And we want to see how fast you can get through these 5 questions. I'm going to be doing this segment with a few other athletes leading into ASM, and there's a special prize for the fastest time to answer all 5 questions. I'm not
I am.
legally allowed to say what it is because prostitution's illegal, but you'll find out soon.
I've been known to finish early, so I like my odds on this one.
All right, and for those watching at home, me and Dave had a conversation earlier. He does have a special can of Zone smelling salts, so he's going to go ahead, take a mighty hefty whiff here, and we'll get ready with some questions.
I have not only special Zone salts, I have the best, the Gummy Brains Zone. Directly from Zone themselves. Ugh.
All right, Dave, how many 45s on a barbell make 585 pounds?
14.
All right, how many kilograms is 585 pounds?
585 pounds would be 280.
Who is cuter, Mehmet or Stacy?
Oh, Mehmet.
What's the rough weight of an adult hippo? Give or take 500 pounds.
2 tons.
And what was Buzz Lightyear's trademark saying in Toy Story?
To infinity and your mom.
Wrong! Good guess, very close. We'll review the answers here. How many 45s on a barbell make 585 pounds? The answer is 12. You said 14.
Son of a bitch.
You're close. How many kilograms is 585 pounds? 265 kilos. Who's cuter, Mehmet or Stacy? You said Mehmet. You got one right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Woo.
Rough weight of a hippo, you said 2 tons. The answer is 3,300 to 4,000 pounds.
That's 2 tons. 2 tons is 4,000 pounds.
Are you saying T-O-N-N-E-S or T-O-N-S?
No, I'm T-O-N-S. That is a tone, a metric tone versus a ton.
I'll give you
As
that.
in like a half-ton pickup?
No, I see what you did there. I approve it. I will give you the answer, or the point for that one. You are 2 for 4.
Well, 2 for 4, sorry.
And the last question, what was Buzz Lightyear's trademark saying in Toy Story? I feel like you knew what the right answer was there, and you kind of just...
I stand by my answer.
I'll give it to you. That's 3 out of 5. So I'll
60%.
I'll review the video after. We'll see how fast you got that. If you got the fastest time with the most amount of answers right, you win.
Accuracy and speed, that's what we're looking for. You have interviewed the wrong man. More of a spray and pray kind of guy. It's like my credo.
Your credo.
No regrets.
I
No
like the way you
regrets.
said that. My credo.
No regrets.
No regrets. I love it. All right, well, that was fun. Thank you for partaking in the first ever Power Hippos Rapid Fire Zone. Still not sure what we're going to call that yet, but it's going to be something good.
I'm sure it'll be great. Whatever you come up with is going to be fantastic.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks for joining me today, Mr. Handsome Dave Blake. Looking forward to seeing you at ASM.
April 11th, that's Fire and Flood Emergency Services, Red Deer, Alberta.
Yeah, if you're in the area, even if you're not, make the trip down because it is super cool venue, really good food, and it's a bit later in the year this year, so it's going to be a bit warmer, and it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, according to the Farmer's Almanac, weather should be lovely.
And they don't lie.
They try not to.
Me too, but here we are. I don't know.
Yeah, well, once again, here I am, no pants on.
All right, well, I love you.
I love you too. See you later.
See you later, dude.
Zone, zone, zone!